So I said this 3 days ago, and I said that we're going to see the first major shakeout of this pump. Don't fall for it. Honestly, I didn't really think it was going to happen what it is happening, but the market is looking I mean, I wouldn't say it's looking pretty bad, but it does look pretty bad. But what I want you to focus on is that if you go and click on the monthly time frame, it shows you a complete different picture. Okay, so even though there is almost $1 billion that's been liquidated in the past 24 hours, this is still not the correction that I've been calling for. And if you're scared of this little dump, and I know some of the tokens are down. I mean, if you look at this, I have to be, obviously realistic. And you can see pump is down 20%, virtual down 13%, Fartcoin 15%. But if you look at the month, it's still up. Fartcoin is still up 40%. Virtual, I can't see virtual here, but probably virtual is up massively as well. Pengu is up 300%. So even though it might be down 10% on the day, it's not that relevant. So, yeah, that's true. Here we go. Now we go. Cool. So if you're scared of this little dip, right? If you're scared of this little what has been happening, this 10-15%, you don't know what's coming, and you don't know how a proper bull market correction looks. But one thing is certain, in my opinion, that we are bouncing today. I do think that the market is going to bounce here. I do think that I posted this chart as well yesterday, and I said that we're gonna come down to this daily POI, or what is it, 4-hour POI, point of interest demand zone, and we did come down there. So I do think that we're gonna see a bounce. I'm gonna explain to you why exactly, what level I'm looking for, what is crucial to happen for us to see a bounce, and where this bounce might take us, and you might miss it if you're not paying attention. As always, my name is 𝗙𝗙𝗙𝗙𝗦. I bring you the most important news from the past 24 hours. For the next 24 hours, spies with a little bit of trading at the end of the show. If you only want to see the sculptures and whatever, you can just skip through. There will be timestamps below. Let's get going. Smash the like. Subscribe to the channel if you haven't already. Check out my socials if you want up-to-date information every single time. And then let's go on the show. I hope you guys are here. We're going to look at the chat as well. Always late, Fefe. Technical error, I promise you. I'm not always late. This was technical error. Alt season, yes. Should we trust him? Yes. Spec good guy coming to front runners. Q&A, come over, Fefe. All right, Luca is a good guy. Good guy. Great people. Let's go. So, number one, I tweeted this. So let's talk about this. Is this the pump or dump or pullback or whatever? Everybody's calling for a pullback, right? And the reason why more and more people is calling for a pullback, the majority is never right. So I tweeted this and I said that we're gonna come down if we get a pullback. This is what it most likely looks like. So there's $1 billion that's been liquidated from the market, and this is how the heat map looks. Now the heat map it's called the funding heat map, funding rate heat map. The funding rate is that what you pay on your leverage positions, so the market makers can balance this. So there is not always a neutral market. So if there are too many longs, they're gonna put the funding rate higher. So the longs had to pay the short position holders, and if too many people are short, the short position holders will have to pay the people who hold the long positions. And so when the market gets heated, and I want you to see, I'm going to go into the 6 months period. When the market gets heated, I mean, the market hasn't been heated for 6 months. That's actually wild. But if you look out here, look at this. Like, this is the stuff, this area here that you see in December, this is what a heated market looks like. This is what when the funding rates are extremely high, this is what it actually looks like. If you look back at the last 30 days, it's nothing. It's nothing. We have some of that on pump, obviously, but in general, the funding rate is like 10%, which is, again, extremely neutral. So we did come back for this POI that I tweeted on the 4-hour chart, and the reason it's already printing that engulfing candle in the 4-hour, which is going to close in 7 minutes, and we're going to go to Valhalla, by the way, just so you know, it's happening right in front of your eyes. But the reason why I tweeted this is because structurally, if we want to see a major reversal, I want to show you what a major reversal looks like, okay? This is a major reversal here. So you do have a very strong 4-hour low, right? It's this low, sorry. So you have a 4-hour low after an impulsive move. You have a 4-hour low right here. And then you see from this level, you see a break below, a retest, and a continuation. This is how usually pullbacks start. So if you see here, this is a low, it gets broken, goes a little bit lower, it retests a massive bearish order block, and then it continues down, right? This is how usually pullbacks start. Now, for us to confirm that this would be a pullback, you need a proper break and close below the 4-hour low. Now, the 4-hour low is defined, or any low, in fact, is defined by 3 consecutive candles to the opposite direction. So if we're in a bullish market, we need to see 3 consecutive candles to the opposite direction. So because we're bullish, we need to see 3 consecutive going down. And so this is one of them. but also the major level, let me just delete this. The major level was this down here, because this is also 3 consecutive candles, and there is a bottom for in here that is reversing the trend. So the real low is this, but even if you look at this, there is no close below here. So that said, I said if we are not closing below the 3.75 trillion, closing, not only weekend through, that's liquidity sweep, if we are not closing below this level, there is no pullback. This was the pullback. And if you look at it on a total, I mean, the total market cap, let's see, total market is down 4%. That's not a proper bull market correction. The bull market correction is like 10, 15% of the total market cap, probably 20, 30% of all the other coins. That's not what we're looking at here, okay? So if we do not have a close below the 375, which we don't have so far in the 4-hour chart, this is not a pullback. If you go down into the 1-hour chart, what I actually want to see, I want to see a rebound. I'm not saying that we can still not dump from here. We can, okay? No one can tell you. I don't have a crystal ball. I can't tell you what is going to happen, but I can tell you what you can look for. Again, one, there is no close below the 3.75. Okay, that's number one. If there is a close below there, probably the pullback is coming. Probably going to dump another 10% down here, 3.6. We're going to talk about it when it happens. But for you to confirm that this is actually just a little bit of a pullback and the reversal to take liquidity on top here, which I marked, which is probably going to happen, you will need to see a close above the 3.85 trillion on the total market cap first. So I want to see an hourly close above the 3.85 trillion mark on the total market cap to confirm that this actually was just a small pullback, and then we're going to new all-time highs, and it's a massive continuation, leaving everybody in the dust, because most of the KOLs, most of the influencers, most of the people that talk about stuff say that there is going to be a pullback, okay? So ultimately, this is what I'm looking at. It will be a very strong reversal for multiple reasons. One, you do have a close below here on the hourly. If you have a close above there, that indicates extreme strength down here in the market, extreme demand in an extremely strong demand zone on the 4-hour. So this is going to be a nothing burger, and you should start layering in. Now, I actually said it in the community. I said I have multiple, I have a free Telegram community. You can join, link in the description, but I post my thoughts there, and I said that I'm not closing any of my positions, and the reason is why I'm not closing is because I just don't see us going into this massive pullback now. There is no confirmation, so for me, closing would be too premature and would not make any sense. Now, one of the positions are in minus, which I have is pump. I told you this is going to be a complete, so to say, gamble position. I do think pump, especially, you know, a lot of people are bearish. I'm going to talk about that a little bit later, the interview that the thread guy did with Alan, the founder of Pump Fun, and a lot of people are bearish on it, but I actually think it is more bullish than people think, and I think this probably is the bottom on pump somewhere here. We're 25% below the market price, but we're going to talk about it then. So I do have these positions open. I actually have been adding, so I told you again in the community, I said that I have not closed, and I also said that adding to positions, we just hit the 4-hour low, yet to see if it breaks, but adding here makes sense, and that's exactly what I've been doing, and I think it's going quite good so far. So the positions are still up, and I do think the next leg is about to start. That is all about the pullback. I'm going to jump into some of the major news, as I always do. Everything you need for the past 24 hours, so you're up to date with all the information. And then after that, we're going to jump into the trades, so just stick around for that. Let's start with the Pump Fund thing, and let's start with Ellen. Now, I have a whole show. So the Pump Fund, the token that launched for Pump Fund, massive shit show, down below ICO prices, about 25% lower, and the thread guy did an interview with Elon, who has not been speaking at all. Now, what do I think about the interview? The interview itself was, I mean, I'm not saying it was pretty shit, but I mean, the interview itself was not a big thing, right? And but Ellen hinted some stuff. I am going to have a full show on this. I have a channel called the 100x Club. I bring you simplified crypto every single day, so you can understand what's happening. We did have a massive Tron trade here when did the show. I warned you about the crypto pullback and where it's going to happen and how it is going to work. I do have a trading bot tutorial that we're printing with, profitability trading, all that stuff on the 100x Club. There's a link in the description, because it's also pinning it right here on the live chat, and also if you're rewatching, we're gonna put it on the top of the comment section. I'm gonna make a full video today. It's gonna drop today on Bonk and Pump Fund and what happened and why I think it is actually quite bullish, so go and check that out. But I agree with my friend here, follows, who says Pump will wait until every MFer, I'm not gonna say that, who tried to long it has been liquidated, and every short-term trader has been stopped, and every long-term investor has capitulated, blah, 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 and then it will send. And I kind of agree. So I posted this in the Telegram as well, and I said I've not closed my pump position yet. I think it will bounce, but as I have said a lot of times, it's a super DG and risky trade. The reason why I'm betting on this is going to be explained in the video I'm dropping today on the 100x Club. So go and check that out. Now let's talk about some of the major news and headlines that is happening. One of the other things that I'm going to make a video probably tomorrow on the 100x Club is something called the Ethereum staking fiasco. What is happening is that there is the Ethereum validator 𝗙𝗘𝗙𝗙. So you gotta obviously queue to get out of the staking thing, and you have a period you gotta wait to unstake your tokens. Has hit the highest level over a year, 520,000 ETH, over 1.9 billion at current prices, lined up to leave about 19 days from now. So I mean, you make whatever you want to make from it, but 1.9 billion, if you compare it with the ETF inflows the last week, you know, then it's not that much. But if you compare it relative to what we've seen as a performance of ETH, I mean, it is quite fucking substantial. I mean, I would not be on the other side of this, so we'll see how that goes. Just in US and EU are very close to finalizing. Guys, can you please just smash the like button? I'm pouring my heart and soul into this show. I would appreciate if you did just smash and obliterate the like button. Please do that, so we can just get going. Okay, so EU finalizing the deal with Trump, which is pretty cool. Again, very good for the market. August 1st is the deadline, so we are yet to see how that's happening. Trump just signed a major AI infrastructure bill. There are 3 bills that happened promoting the export of the American AI technology, accelerating Federal Reserve permitting data center infrastructure, and preventing woke AI in the federal government. Now, this is also super important. I don't know if you remember Gemini's AI waking up and talking shit. Like, that's probably what you not want to see. So they signed this, and the reason why I brought this here, as other than the fact that I always talk about politics and stuff like that, is because this is extremely bullish for crypto, like extremely, especially for crypto mining. For look at Bitcoin, like AI and crypto goes hand in hand. But also, most importantly, if you do mining, the same rigs are required to run Bitcoin nodes as they required for AI. So that means that the development of AI infrastructure in the United States will have major implications for crypto, for the better. In my honest opinion, there's an AI government website, AI.gov. Action plan. You can read all this, all that's been happening. AI.gov/action plan. We might do a show on this on 100x Club. TJ, note please, and then we might just do that as well. President Trump to visit the Federal Reserve tomorrow. What is interesting about this is that this happened. Let me just see this. Where is this? I put this up somewhere here. So this happened only 3 times in the history of the Federal Reserve. That's actually kind of badass. Only 3 presidents have visited the Fed. You see here, I think it was Roosevelt. Oh, FDR, yeah, he would have been open in 1938. One of them was actually on the opening. Ford, when a buddy of his became a governor, and Bush for the swearing in of Ben Bernanke. Who remembers Bernanke? Who could forget Bernanke? Okay, so so this is huge. This is actually huge. This is the first time when the guy doesn't go to say hi and have fun, but actually goes there to like clean shit. I think it's a demonstration. Do you guys remember when like Elon walked into Twitter when he bought it with a sink and he said, "Let that sink in"? That's kind of what I would imagine from Trump making a statement and whatever. So it is going to be good. Somebody's coming in. Are we expecting a dump? No. That's the short answer if you have not watched the show. What about TON? I'm still in the TON trade. We're going to talk about it in a second. Bo Hines says he's the guy behind the strategic Bitcoin reserve, one of the guys behind the strategic reserve. So it's big shot. I did an interview with him in Vegas. Very cool guy. And he said that the president's working group on digital assets has completed the 180-day report. It will be released publicly on July 30th. So July 30th, I believe, is going to be huge anyway, which is 6 days away. I do think that then we can have a dip. I would not be surprised if we see a major pullback in August. We're going to talk about that in a bit. Now, I wanted to talk about this as well. They're our partners. They are near our partners on the channel. First of all, I think Near is absolutely incredible. Like in the fact that we have Near as a, so to say, layer 1, but layer 1.5, I would rather say, jumping on here as our partner is incredible. But they have something. So I know that not many of you probably understand exactly how Near works and why I say 1.5, because they are kind of like a layer 1, but they also operate on a massive scale and different infrastructure than a normal layer 1 or layer 2. But what I wanted to tell you is that they told me to try that product, near-intents.org. There's a link in the description. It's mind freaking blowing, okay? And I know it's comments gonna come in, oh my god, they're partners. No, it's fucking incredible. So what they do, multiple things, and I'm gonna actually do a gift, not on this show, but tomorrow's show. So you come to the tomorrow show, you can win $50. But how this works is that you come onto the _intent.org thing, and one of the major things that you can do is swap. So I talked about 𝗙𝗘𝗙𝗙𝗏, I talked about how good 𝗙𝗘𝗙 is, and I genuinely think it's great. But I mean, this thing is next level. So what you can do is, first of all, it's retail friendly. So the way it's set up is that when you come onto the site, you can create a wallet or a login access with your passkey. So like if you have a Mac, you put your fingerprint on it, done. Your wallet is done. You don't need 24 words, all that. If you want to export it, fine, but you don't need all that. You can connect it with any of the wallet, ETH wallet, Sol wallet, whatever you need. But the best part is you come here to trade and you can simply swap whatever you want in literally no time. So I'm going to do this live so you see it, that I'm not like any token. What should we swap? You have all these tokens. Pepe, Avi, let's do something. Let's buy Trump. Come on, let's buy Trump here. So I go from USDT to Trump. But Trump is easy because like oh yeah, but you can do that. Let's go from ETH. You know what? I'm gonna show you. So you can go from ETH to Trump. Let me see. Trump. I'm gonna spend all my, oh, and by the way, because of the near infrastructure, it's close to 0 fees. So I go swap, I put my fingerprint on it. Don't ever do this, by the way. I never use, so don't use passkey to your serious stuff. Like always do the wallet, but I show this for demonstration purposes only. And then it's done. And that is, and then you go into your account, you can see your token, you can simply click on withdraw, and they can just withdraw any token you want on any chain you want. It's really mind-blowing. So I recommend you go and check them out. I'm gonna bring a lot of stuff because what I can also do is that I can come here, I can click on gift, I can create a link that gives you $50, and there will be a link that I'm gonna post into the chat tomorrow. So it's worth coming to the live show tomorrow and doing it there. This is so, it is incredible, and it's almost 0 fees. I'm telling you, it's pretty cool. So Cause also pinned it here in the live chat. Go and check it out. Yeah. Let's move on to, yeah, I have to talk about this. So everybody, you know that I kind of support Trump. I have MAGA and all that and the idea behind, and I love the fact that he supported a lot of the crypto space. But I have to talk about this. So Epstein files. All my idiotic Democratic friends coming to me and like, but Trump is in the Epstein files. I have a message for you, okay? If you are so retarded that you think that the Democrats had anything on Trump related to Epstein during the election, and they didn't publish it, you deserve to think like that, okay? So whether he flew on his plane or not, I don't actually care. The fact is that if they had any compromising footage or anything on Trump, first of all, Trump would not have gone out for months and months and been saying, I'm gonna release the Epstein files, I want the Epstein files to be out. If the Dems had anything on him, it would have been out. So, that said, what is interesting about this is why don't they release it? Now, I have my own conspiracy theory, which I'm going to keep for myself for this second. But the idea here is that, so Trump has been saying, Trump said that they can release it. I have asked the Justice Department to release all grand jury testimony with respect to Jeffrey Epstein. So Trump said that he asked the jury to actually release the testimony. But then the judge said that the judge responded for the Epstein grand jury testimony and has rejected Pam Bondi's motion to unseal. She determined that the DOJ's request, the Justice request, did not meet requirements to unseal. So there is some fuckery going on here, which I don't really like. So anyway, this is something that we definitely are going to talk about here. So, but is there any comments that I need to look at that is kind of? Oh, what happened here? Okay. Swapping isn't new. Black hole using AVAX near free. I'm not saying it's new, but it's legendary what they did on here. Can I do cross-chain transfers? Yes, bro. You literally, I buy USDT and I can just send it out anyway. So it's incredible. Okay, so Dusty says here that the Tether planning US expansion with the new domestic strategy after White House visit. I made sure to verify this, but it is true. So it is happening. It's actually quite interesting. USDT is planning to expand on different ways, which is gonna be interesting because you see USDC moving much more into the EU, and you see USDT dominance could actually tick up in the United States if they decide to do that. S&P 500 has never been more concentrated in a single stock than it is today. Why it is a problem? Now that they signed the AI stock deal and there is no one that can do what they do, Trump actually made it. So this means is that 8% of the entire S&P 500, which is the 500 largest market cap companies in the United States, is NVIDIA. So that kind of has a little bit of a problem there. I mean, if you see the S&P as the index and 8% of that is one single company, that is kind of a problem. So Trump actually had made statements on the fact that they wanted to break up somehow NVIDIA, but they can't because there is nobody that can compete with them. So it is happening. You have to watch out for NVIDIA's earnings, NVIDIA developments. There's just no other way to do this. Apple, NVIDIA, two of these companies put out 15% of the entire S&P 500. It's kind of crazy. When and if the crash comes, it comes very fast and catches you in the butt. Owning one full Bitcoin is becoming increasingly rare, with fewer than 1 million people ever to hold one. Now I want to tell you,
there's a comment
because he's like, is Europe talking about implementing digital currencies yet? Yes. So Lagarde made a statement. She's like, the CBDC is coming. So I actually get on a guy for an amazing show on the weekend. It's gonna be all about MiCA regulation. So I'm going to do that, and you're going to be able to see it. Yeah, it's gonna be a massive show on 𝗙𝗘𝗙𝗙 this weekend, all about Europe and everything you need to know about that. So I say, just wanted to say, chop. Monkey face, I was laughing my ass off on your comment when Ren came on the 100x Club. That was like, I was literally dying here. It was ridiculous. I don't know, what was the comment? Ranjit, what on Chop Show? Ranjit on the Chop Show. So if you don't know what that is, Ran is Ranjit, because there's a joke that Ran is Indian, and then he came on and did a show here on the 100x Club, and yeah, Monkey Face, who comes in here and body shames me on every single show. Actually, this is actually a pretty cool show from Ren, so go and check it out on the 100x Club, link in the description. And then he just came on and he said, Ranjit on the Chop Show. What should I do in my first year of college? What should you do in your first year of college? Quit college. That's what you should do in your first year of college. Oh my God. Okay, let me finish this show. So I just wanted to say here, I'm also bringing you something I can't tell you. This is, and it's that serious. Like, we have 700 people here, 600 people here. You know what? I'm gonna tell you if we get 350 likes. I'm not supposed to say anything, and I'm actually under very strict NDA. So I can't tell you the full story, but I'm gonna tell you something that is gonna blow your mind, like genuinely blow your mind. So if we get 350 likes in the next 2 minutes, by the time I finish the show, I'm gonna tell you something that is in relation to this, okay? And then what else do we have here? Yeah, Cambodia and Thailand. I just wanna say to my Thai and Cambodian brothers, can't you just stop fucking fighting? Like, I was to go back to Thailand for like a month or two, and I mean, it's horrible that, like, why do we have to fight? Just have peace in the world. Just go back to the monks and just Zen and, you know, all that, and don't fight. Like, that's it. Like, I've seen videos that Cambodia is, like, if it was, I don't know, if it was like Iran and the US just bombing each other, like, let's not do that. So let's just keep it, you know, simple and cool and whatever that might be. Okay, let me just read the chat, and then we're gonna do 2 more trades. 22, and we got 5 minutes for the trades. People don't want to know the alpha, so I'm not gonna share. If we don't get 350 likes, I'm not gonna share the info that I know. Who doesn't know we must like the show? Exactly, I agree. I liked already. Give it up, Fefe. Bullish on 𝗙𝗔𝗙𝗙. You're a bit. If I have low capital, what strategy would I use for bots? If I have low, it's always, guys. It's always about. It's not about the capital. It's about what do you want to do with the capital. Like, if you have $100, I'm sorry to pop your bubble, but you're not gonna make $150,000 with lower risk in the next 12 months. It's just not possible. So, like, can you make $20 a month for coffee? Easy, no problem. But like, it all comes back to the capital. What about Cambodia, Thailand war? So it happens. So they're shooting at each other, and it's been going on for quite some time. So they had this both countries engaged. Thai embassy torched in Cambodia riots sparked by a statement from Thai actress. And then you have 2008 and 11, both countries engaged in crossfiring near the temple. But then it's kind of cooled off. And now in 2025 May, a Cambodian soldier was killed by a shot fired by the Thai military at the border. And then phone call between Cambodian former prime minister and Cambodian Prime Minister leading to the Thai Prime Minister's suspension. And then now Cambodian army clashes are up near the disputed border. So I just hope they're gonna fix this shit. Like, I genuinely hope. It's just enough wars in the world, enough. Telegram is awesome, I'm happy. And it's not only awesome, it's also free. Link in the description. And Cuz is also going to put it up here in the top of the live chat. Let's go jump onto the trades, because I wanted to give you some of the trades. One, very important, guys, I would not get into any trade. I layered in. I would wait for this hourly break to happen. I would be hoping for a little bit of a dump in New York and then an immediate pump. That's what I want to see. This is also it's very important. This is also a New York low, so it's a very strong level to hold. This level, it's actually double New York. So look at this. New York protected both of these lows. Like it's a very important level because also it's the previous high in New York. So anyway, it's a very, very strong level. I do think this will be protected. We can see a retest here. Like I would not be surprised to see something like this. We can see a little bit of liquidity inducement coming down to the 50% down here in New York and then pumping. But ultimately, I would wait for a high here in the hourly. Once we get an hourly high here, close above 3.85, you can start just layering into the positions. I do believe that anything that does the same trajectory, Sol closes above 192, go long, stop loss down here at 179. BNB, same thing, closing above 786, go long, stop loss 741. SUI, same thing, close above 3.8, go long, stop loss 3.5. AVAX, same thing, 24, close above, stop loss at 22.5. You can rewatch all this. This is why I'm just spitting this out. This is apparently, we had a trade here on Link. Is this the trade? Am I still in this trade? Let me just open this up here. I am not. I'm in the SUI trade as well. Yeah, so I would do these this setup and then just focus on that. Guys, I'm going to drop an insane video on the 𝗏𝗏𝗏 Club. Go and check that out. It's going to be put up here. This is going to be the channel itself. You can click on it. There's going to be another video that teaches you how to trade. You can check that out. Click here to subscribe and then come back for another one tomorrow. I'm going to give away a gift on Near Intense. Guys, truly appreciate every single one of you. I'll see you over in the Telegram. I'll see you here tomorrow, and I will see you on my X and on the 𝗏𝗏𝗏 Club. Thanks for watching. Take care, and I believe I'll see you in the next one.